Hey Sophie, welcome to the live. How's it going? What's today? Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. What do we eat today so far? Let's drop the meals that you ate in the chat. What's going on, Joanna? Welcome to the live. Happy to have you in. Doing great, doing great. Another happy Tuesday. Just posted 2 new shorts, so always excited to post new content for you guys and seeing the support, all the great comments. Protein pancakes with oats. Sounds amazing. Love to be, starting your day with protein. That is the best way to help manage your hunger, your appetite, have those, filling and satiating meals. For myself, I like to start my day with a protein shake, and I usually have some walnuts on the side. I've been having some Drizzlicious rice cakes on the side as well, and a few more Oreo minis. Just a few. I like my Oreo minis. Broke out of the 200. That's amazing, Taylor. That's an amazing milestone. So proud of you. Now you're going to continue to do great. Favorite fitness influencers? Honestly, I don't to be honest, I really don't watch anybody like religiously. What I do is like, since I'm like a reaction type channel, I just look for videos that are, decent to react to. So I wouldn't say that I have, a specific person in mind that I always look to watch their videos. In the past, I was more so in the training aspect of things as opposed to nutrition. So, for example, someone like Jeff Nippard, I think he's like a YouTuber, pretty big actually. I think he gives a lot of good training advice, I would say. But yeah, I don't know. I I spend a lot of time on social media just scrolling, looking for good videos to react to, essentially. But I've seen people in my comments say like, "You're my favorite person to watch," and I think that's absolutely incredible. And never in a million years would I have thought that I would be somebody that someone would look forward to be tuning into. So, really appreciative of that. What's going on, Roblox? Happy to have you in. The circumference method for body fat percentage. What is the circumference method? Any tips for fat loss for teens? Yeah, absolutely. So, depending on, like, it's easy to just say, count calories and all this stuff. And sometimes that can be a little bit unrealistic depending on, your preference, how much time you have. Obviously, it's nice to be cognizant of what portion sizes look like overall, because that is a piece of the puzzle when it comes to weight loss. But I would say some good, like, to get everything firing on all cylinders, you want to be, setting yourself some kind of daily minutes of walking or step goal. I think oftentimes a lot of people are sedentary, just due to the nature of how the world is nowadays. A lot of things are online. You don't have to really go places. School's even online too. Like, half my degree moved to online because it was during, 2019, 2020. So, I was just inside. So, making that effort to get activity in, setting yourself that goal. It doesn't have to be 10K necessarily, but something that's realistic for you that still challenges you at the same time. You want to be resistance training. So some kind of, putting your muscles through some kind of tension. That could be resistance bands, dumbbells, even body weight, doing that, 2 3 times a week. And then in terms of nutrition, following that protein fiber first mindset is going to allow you to feel a lot more full on, foods that are less calories. So you're essentially going to be eating enough to be in what is known as a calorie deficit, meaning your body is burning more calories than you are consuming. So it has to, start dipping into those body fat stores to make up for that energy deficit. And that's how you start losing body fat essentially. So, those are some good things to shoot for. Like fiber intake, you want to try to do, for every 1,000 calories that you're eating, at least 10 grams of fiber is really a good place to be. In terms of protein, at least 0.7 grams per pound of body weight, at least 2-1 if you can get there. is a good place to be. I mean, if you're morbidly obese, then it's according to goal body weight, I would say, is a better measure. Okay. I feel like I've hit a plateau when I don't really want to drop to 15. I would say you increase your activity. So whatever your current, add more cardio in, whether that's more walking, more cardio sessions or higher intensity cardio sessions. So start to add more activity into your week, and that will literally increase your weekly deficit, and allow you to continue burning fat, because the amount of the a deficit that's going to work for you at, let's just say, and I don't know your starting point, but let's just say your start was 250 pounds. That was your start. The deficit that's going to work for you at 250 pounds is not necessarily going to work for you at 200 pounds, because your caloric maintenance, the amount of calories needed to maintain your weight, is going to change. So, but if you keep trying to decrease calories, you become more restricted, potentially, resulting in nutrient deficiencies, because you don't have as much caloric room to incorporate a variety of foods, which can cause excessive fatigue. Especially as a woman, you could lose your period or regulate your hormones, all those things that are not sustainable. And you'll most likely just end up gaining the weight back. So that's why it's really important that you're not so apt to decrease a bunch of calories, as it's easier just to add, activity in, I would say. Has anyone ever contacted me about yeah, a lot of the people that I do videos on really enjoy the videos that I do, and in fact follow me. And I have creators that, like, bigger creators that have reached out and said, "Can you make a video on my diet and post it?" I'm a 16-year-old girl. How many days a week should I work out? People say I need to work out 60 minutes a day. Don't really look at time, I would say. Just look at, I would say, whatever you can realistically do within the amount of time that you have. So if that's 30 minutes, then you have 30 minutes. Like, I have some clients that are very busy. They don't have time to be, 60 minutes sessions. They do 30 to 45 minutes. And within those 30 to 45 minutes, they're not, sitting on their phone for endless minutes and distracted. They're just focused. They're doing what they need to do. They're pushing themselves. So, 2 to 3 times a week, 30, 45 minutes, you give yourself an intense workout that challenges you, and you have ways to measure your progression over time, and you're good to go at the end of the day. We got 28 people in here. Love to see that, and 7 likes already. If we can get to 10 likes, that would be incredible. Okay, sorry, I'm just catching up with questions. What is the most accurate way to calculate body fat? Probably a DEXA, I would say, but even then, that's not the most. That's, it's the accuracy with DEXA is still questionable. So, but if you get some kind of DEXA scan, that'd probably be the best way, I would say. I'm 13. I eat 2,000 calories a day, 130 grams. Is that good or bad? I think that's a good, like, 2,000 calories, like this standard that they say everyone needs to eat 2,000 calories, which it's relative, right? There's some people, like, I've known women that are, 4'11", under 100 pounds. Are they going to need to eat 2,000 calories a day to maintain their weight? And they're considered a healthy, body weight for them, like 90, 95 pounds. No. So it's really dependent. Like, if 2,000 calories it's actually, depending on, like, your height, weight, what you're trying to do, like if you're trying to gain weight, lose weight, maintain weight. So um I don't really have enough information to, like, answer it, like, precisely, but I would say 2,000 calories does give you a lot of room to get a lot of those nutrients that you need to thrive. I'm a teen girl trying to lose more weight after losing 14 kg, but my problem is that I did it on a healthy way and lost many things, so I recover while I'm still losing. So, there's no shame in taking some time to maintain your weight loss. Oftentimes with my clients is, sometimes we hit a point where you start to get some diet fatigue symptoms, and this is pretty inevitable, where, you feel like you get brain fog, increased cravings, your sleep's not as great, your workout performance is down, there's, like, weakness, and that is a sign that your body is telling you, like, hey, we need to take a step back a bit, let's increase our calorie intake maybe for a few weeks, kind of reset, recover from all that fatigue that was accumulated, and just taking a little brief time to maintain will do really great things for your body at the end of the day. So I would say, increase your intake a bit, prioritize those whole foods, give your time some time for your body to recover from all that fatigue, and in the long run, you will be able to lose weight sustainably and keep it off. Does the deficit from calories you burn while working out worth the same as less food? Yeah, yeah. Like if you burn 100 calories of in the gym and you eat 100 calories of food, it kind of equals out in a sense. Like if you want to be doing more activity to get into your deficit as opposed to eating less food, more power to you at the end of the day. Usually I like to do like a combination of both where it's, moderate deficit, like very low to moderate deficit with a good amount of activity. And then that puts you collectively in like a overall like moderate deficit that gives you, a sustainable rate of fat loss. Again, something to know with food is, what is the amount, like there's certain factors like we're not absorbing every single calorie that you're eating. Sometimes it's, expelled through your body. So, and then there's also like the thermic effect of food. So, protein, you're going to be burning calories trying to digest it too. So, there are small factors like that in play. The TDE calculators, honestly, for TDE calculators, they are estimates. The way to really find out your maintenance per se is through trial and error over a couple weeks and taking your weekly average weight. That would be the best way to do it. The equations are only a start. It gives you a good starting point in which you have to conduct trial and error. What could I add to my snack of enriched uranium to make uranium? Can you give me a diet? I want to lose stomach fat. So I would say, without me knowing anything about you, it's a little bit difficult to kind of like give you like a set diet, but I can make some like recommendations, prioritizing, protein and fiber in all your meals. Protein sources are, egg whites, protein powder, beef, turkey, fish, chicken, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, the tofu, seitan, uh, beans, like lentils, like those are some protein sources you can implement. The lentils are really high in fiber. For fiber, you can really cover that with, just pick a couple of your favorite fruits, pick a couple of your favorite veggies, incorporate those. You can still have things, rice, potatoes are really good. I love sweet potatoes, implementing them. They're super satiating. I like to do oats too with my protein powder, make like a protein oat. Sometimes you can bake your oats, have like a nice baked oat bar. It makes it pretty good. So those are just some things offhand. Avocado, you want to have some healthy fats in there, of course. Avocado, healthy fats are pretty calorie dense, so it's really being mindful of those portions there. So I wouldn't say eat like just one of those big like Caribbean avocados, like eat multiple of those a day. But I like to buy the smaller avocados, like come in a bag of five. Might have like probably have like one or two a day of those. That fits for me. I'm around like 190 pounds. I'm a man, so my caloric expenditure is going to be a little bit higher than yours. So just adjust the portions according to your needs. Yeah, like meal prep ideas. I would say you can't go wrong with this formula of like pick your protein source, pick your fiber source, and then add a healthy fat source. And I would say 1 to 2 meals. Well, yeah, like 1 to 2 meals, depending on like how many meals you have too. Depends what your meal structure is. But easy things to prep is just preparing a meat, some kind of meat or some kind of like tofu, or and then combining it with like a carb source and then combining it with like a vegetable and like just that's literally what I have in my fridge. I have chicken, I have rice. As boring as it sounds, I have chicken, rice, and I have frozen veggie mix. So if you're someone who doesn't like to cut up a bunch of raw vegetables and do all that, you can just get a frozen veggie mix. It's really fast, and you can put that together really easy. If you want to look at someone who's really good with meal prep recipes, I would say, I mean, his personality is questionable, but Cooking for Gains, if you want to go on his profile, like he's got some really good meal prep recipes that you could definitely try. I haven't tried them, but they do look good. It's one of those things where it's like I save it, like maybe I'll try it, and then it's like it ends up just being saved. with my meals, I really like simplicity. Sorry, I'm behind on questions, really behind actually. Hey, if my BMR is 1200, T 1600, what is the perfect deficit to lose fat, gain muscle? Now I'm eating 1300 and 95 protein a day. Well, if you're, I would, it's not, don't think about perfect. When you think about, because perfect really doesn't exist at the end of the day, you're in a deficit. And if your deficit, you're not feeling like a little bit of hunger is normal. Okay, you're in a deficit, but if you are in a deficit and you're feeling good, like I was just talking to my client the other day and she was losing 2 pounds a week and she was a little bit concerned that she was losing weight too fast. Is it muscle? And I asked her some questions like, how is your workout performance? She's like, oh, I'm getting stronger. My energy levels are up. Okay, great. How are your cravings? Oh, no, not really. Not really. Maybe the odd craving here and there. How is your sleep? Great. Okay, so she's not getting any diet fatigue symptoms. So we're okay to continue with our deficit and continue losing at 2 pounds a week. That's going good for her. So there's no reason to increase the deficit. There's no reason to pull the calories back up because the diet fatigue symptoms have not set in. Avocado, love to see it. Avocado toast, strawberries, great. Those are great. I like to put an egg or cottage cheese too. One of those two is good. Can you speak on the 80-20 concept? How true is that? So the eight I when I think 80-20, I think of like 80% because it's like generally what I follow, like 80% whole nutrient dense foods, 20%, whatever you want to give you that flexibility every single day. But in terms of what you're saying, the recipe for fat loss, like 80% nutrition, 20% workout, like those are very like arbitrary numbers. you need you want everything going for you ideally. You want, obviously, I would say where most people struggle when it comes to fat loss is the nutrition aspect. That's where most people can go and get some workouts and then go for walks and things like that. It's just the nutrition that suffers a little bit. So that's why a lot of more people need more focus on the nutrition side. But both of them do come together and play a key role when it comes to weight loss. Can you lose weight just focusing on nutrition and not moving at all? Yes, but you might have to restrict a little bit more than you would like. It might not be as sustainable, and you might even end up gaining that weight back and more on top of it, essentially just wasting your time. Does starvation mode actually exist, or is it a myth? Starvation mode. So yes, there is metabolic adaptation as you lose weight, but the extent at which people are contributing the reason why they can't lose fat due to this is simply incorrect. You know, it's essentially that most of these people, they claim that they're eating a set amount of calories, but they might be, and I've seen this a lot even with clients coming in. It's easy to overlook things like drinks or people. You might, be picking at things throughout the day and you just forget that you're consuming these things. And then you're like, yeah, I eat 1,200 calories, but in reality, you're eating like 18 to 2,000. You're wondering why you're not losing weight at the end of the day. And you could be doing this a couple times of the week, and then staying to your 1,200, let's say, and still kind of maintaining, because how a calorie deficit works is it needs to be an overall net weekly deficit to see that continued fat loss. So does it play a role? Yes, the metabolic adaptation does play a role, and that's why if you're someone, and I've had clients, you start 300 plus pounds, you can, and you're on this set deficit. That set deficit's only going to work for a set period of time before you need to make adjustments because your metabolism has adapted. It's going to slow a little bit because you're less body mass. And with that, you're either going to decrease calories by a little bit, you're going to increase your activity, or a combination of both. I'm a 5'2" female on a weight loss journey. Currently 189. I love to start lifting, but I don't know if I should say. I think you should start as soon as possible. And it doesn't need to be some crazy routine, right? It can just be something as simple as, and it depends. Like I especially have some clients that started off with a little bit of gym anxiety because it can be a very scary thing to be, going into the gym, especially when you're not so confident and you're in the middle of kind of transforming your body. You're not the most confident in how you look and you just want to change. stepping foot in that public scene, like working out and things like that. I certainly understand that because I was at a starting point where I was not so comfortable and I had to step foot in the gym and work out and things like that. But, starting off with like something as simple as, doing machines and maybe a few free weight movements and, just taking like 30, 45 minutes. You don't have to be in there forever, just focusing on what you need to do and getting out, I think would be ideal. Just starting as soon as possible will help with your weight loss journey because most women want to get toned at the end of the day. And what tone means is you're not only losing fat, but you're gaining muscle at the same time. And that's what brings out that shape and that tone that most women want. And to do that, you need to actually be lifting some sort of resistance, whether that's resistance bands or weights in the actual gym. Your Roblox, you're not going to be gaining fat at maintenance. What's going on, Maddie? Happy to have you in. Hey, Jordy. Yes, it is the avocado guy, indeed. Oh, I've caught up with the questions. Oh, that's so great. I'm scared of the gym. The only thing I'm comfortable with is doing the bike and walking on the treadmill. Well, first off, the fact that you're even showing up, that takes a lot of guts, and you should be proud of yourself. And I would say it's easy to kind of you start there and it's easy to like segue into machines because machines have a fixed pattern of movement, so it's very stable, it's very beginner friendly. Or I've seen people, take yoga mats and kind of go to the corner where it's not really the center of attention, take your dumbbells with you and work out there, in more like confined spaces as opposed to like out in the open in the free weight area where you might see, some more advanced people or some people that are grunting really loud and a little bit of like an intimidating atmosphere, I would say. Is meat healthy? Yeah, I would say so. Like red meat is very nutrient dense. But, at the same time, you don't want to go crazy like eating a lot of red meat every single day. It is very nutrient dense though. And then, chicken, not as nutrient dense, but it's very good. It's very easy to get protein in with meat, which helps with putting on, lean muscle mass and are very satisfying too. Are healthy snacks a trap? Sometimes I make healthy snacks end up the what kind of healthy snacks are you making exactly? And then I could kind of give you some insight as to maybe why they're not as satisfying. If you eat lower protein at maintenance and lose muscle, won't it decrease your maintenance slowly if you keep, well, in theory, because if, muscle mass, obviously, the more muscle mass you have, the more muscle cells are going to be firing and working, and therefore your caloric maintenance will be higher. So in theory, yeah, if you're losing muscle, then yeah, I would agree to that. But I would say the indicator of muscle loss is if you're the one biggest indicator is probably if you're getting weaker with whatever you're with your workouts. You notice that you're getting noticeably weaker and it's not going the other way. You're not getting stronger at all. You're just progressively getting weaker. That's most likely a sign of muscle loss. Hey, Aquatic, I appreciate you. Thank you for being in here. It's amazing. Does gooning lower cortisol? I would say temporarily, yeah, because it's going to increase things like dopamine, prolactin. It's going to have a calming effect, but it's temporarily. It's not going to be whatever you're stressed about. Probably will return after like 10, 15, 20 minutes, anyways. Fat burning and fat loss. I couldn't tell you, to be honest. Sounds like the same thing to me. These are just terms at the end of the day. Well, fat burning, it's not even really a scientific term. It's just another term for fat loss. They're interchangeable terms. It depends what we're actually talking about. How do you feel about water fasting for a day, like 3 days or more? Uh, it depends what the purpose of it is. I personally wouldn't do it because I'm someone who's prone to migraines, and migraines typically one of my triggers is fasting. So I personally wouldn't do it. Not for me. Um, Is there benefits for longevity in the purpose of fasting, taking fasting periods? Possibly, but if you're trying to do that to lose weight, I don't think it's sustainable. Yes, the avocado man, he is live. I'm actually gonna have after this, I'm gonna make some eggs. I got an avocado. I'm down to my last avocado, which is why I gotta go grocery shopping today. Probably gonna make like a fried egg, avocado, and maybe some feta cheese on a bagel. It's gonna be really good. I'm really excited for it. Is it okay to eat more or less calories for different phases of a menstrual cycle as a woman? I find it. Yes, absolutely. What I give the women that I coach is caloric ranges typically. So here's our target ranges. So, some days that you don't have the highest appetite, feel free to eat in the lower range. On the days where your appetite's a bit higher, feel free to eat in the higher range. And that way they kind of stay within line with their overall goals. And especially if you find that your hunger is just insatiable, like adding a lot of low calorie dense foods. So, adding a lot of fruits and veggies where you can. Like I had a woman that, you know, she had like a bowl of pasta. We were able to switch it to kind of a protein pasta, which has higher fiber too, which is great. She would add some frozen veggies on the side as well. And she's like, wow, this is a lot more satisfying than when I would just have the bowl of pasta. So it's worked wonders. Protein and fiber is like super. They're superheroes. We got 43 people in here. Let's go. Love to see that. I honestly want to go live like later in the evening just to see because I understand this is what a Tuesday. People are working. People are at school. People are busy. I tend to get busier later on in the day for some reason, but I do want to go live later in the day, maybe next time. We're one off 20 likes. I'd really appreciate if one person dropped a like. I'll love you forever. My metabolism is too slow, so I eat 13 to maintain my weight. Reverse dieting doesn't work despite creating a deficit by X amount of lose weight. I try to do over two. What's your current weight and height and gender? Because 1,300 seems a bit low of an estimate. That could be like your BMR, and your BMR is like if you were at rest and not moving a single like nothing. Your TDE, your total daily energy expenditure, includes like your fidgeting, your exercise, your thermic effect of food. You know, so these other things like that seems a little bit low overall. I would say in terms of an estimate. Is fasting beneficial or is it going to slow down metabolism? I wouldn't say fasting has some kind of permanent effect on metabolism necessarily, but sorry, I would say fasting, it depends on the purpose of it, but it does have benefits. I would say like there's been, research into benefits of fasting for things like, like longevity of life. So if that's something that's important to you, which is important to a lot of people, I would say there's some benefits there. If you're truing it truly, it depends what kind of fasting. Some people have found a lot of success with intermittent fasting for fat loss. If that's something that is sustainable as a lifestyle for you, then by all means, like I have a few clients that like to do intermittent fasting. They swear by it, they love it, and that works for them. They prefer just eating in a small window and eating, bigger meals, then by all means. I'm someone who just likes to have, my normal meals but throughout the day, and I found benefit in that. So it's very individual what you prefer. Guess I'll eat an avocado to lower my cortisol. Eat an avocado. Eat an avocado. It's got a range of benefits. It's going to help with hormonal health, namely like things like testosterone, absorption of your fat soluble vitamins A, E, K, D. So it's very beneficial. Avocado. As a teen girl in a calorie deficit, is a calorie deficit because I lost my period for 5 months, even though I'm not in a huge calorie and did not lose much weight. If you're losing your period, I would say yes, that is a sign that you're, while the deficit might not be the cause, could be something else, but it seems that it is. There's some kind of association with it because you were on a calorie deficit per se, and you lost your period. I would say, if you want to lose weight, try to focus more so on just getting more activity and adding more. You could have been nutrient deficient in a couple things too. Maybe your fat intake was really low when you were trying to do, or no carbs, and you were just trying to do a bunch of protein. So just making sure, especially when it comes to having a healthy, regular menstrual cycle, it's very important that you're getting, namely your healthy fats. You are getting your overall micronutrients, span of micronutrients that you do need, and there's a plethora of them. But there's a lot of foods that can cover these. Like for example, like eggs are really nutrient dense. Blackberries are very nutrient dense. Kiwi, things like walnuts, almonds, sweet potatoes, very nutrient dense. Red meat is pretty nutrient dense. Salmon, things like that, like very nutrient dense foods, like and an assortment of like fruits and veggies. Getting those in is a good way to just cover all your nutrient bases. Let's say if you struggle on something specific, like I don't know, iron, you can always take, multivitamin too can help, but a multivitamin shouldn't be the only source of your micronutrients. It should be supplemental to your overall whole foods intake. I'm going to answer a few more questions here, and then I'm going to make my XOXO. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm going to answer one more question, and I do have to hop off. I will say I really appreciate everyone here, all the wonderful support. And if I didn't get to your question, I'm so sorry. Leave your question on my recent shorts. I at the end of the day, I typically look at all my comments and I respond to the ones that weren't a response from me. Of course, whether it's a question or a nice, spread of kindness and positivity, I will respond to those. And also, this live will be uploaded as a VOD, so you can just go on it and drop a comment there. Not a lot of people drop comments on the lives, so that's a good way to get shown. Hey, Chill UK, thank you so much for the €2. Really appreciate you. Honestly, I am so grateful that I've had this opportunity to just be here and just help you guys in such a simple and practical way. Really appreciate your support, Chili UK. Thank you so much. Don't worry, the content's going to keep coming, and I'm going to keep providing value to you guys. And feel free to like drop your successes like in the comments, like, hey, I love to see those comments like, hey, I'm on a weight loss journey, I lost this weight, or I have more energy now because I'm eating more avocados. So like dropping those comments really means a lot, just seeing that. Even like besides my clients, like just seeing all of you doing better just based off my videos alone literally gives me so much purpose, makes my day, literally makes my day. I wake up every day for you guys to put out content for you guys and just continue to grow this positive community. So really appreciate it. You're down from fires from 4XL to XL. That is amazing, Chili UK. That is amazing. You should be so proud of yourself to be able to accomplish that in a span of 5 years, to giving yourself that time to lose weight and not putting, I'm not the biggest fan of like putting time frames on weight loss unless it's absolutely necessary for some kind of competition. Because when you try to rush things, it can be, it's like a stopwatch ticking your head, like tick, 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 tick. Oh, I didn't lose weight today. I'm behind, and then you start to doubt yourself, and then you start going the other way. But if you just take the small wins as they come and let your body do its thing over a prolonged period of time, by the time you get to your end goal, you'll be able to sustain that weight loss for life. We want to lose weight and keep it off for life. We're not just trying to lose our fat as fast as possible and then risk gaining it back, and just going through this endless cycle of gaining, losing. I see a lot of people in this gaining, losing cycle. It's super frustrating, and being able to break that cycle and finally be free and just be confident, lead a happy, healthy life is something that honestly most of us want, as opposed to fast weight loss or fat loss. Yeah, exactly, Chili UK. I agree. If you rush, you'll if you rush things, that's when those craving you'll have to rush. You have to restrict more. That's when cravings increase, and that's when you want to go back the other way. Okay. Now I'm gonna answer one more question. Um, hey Nico, as a six or two more, as a 16-year-old girl doing a 30-minute dumbbell workout 6 times a week, is that too much? If you feel that you are adequately recovering from these workouts, so you don't feel excessively fatigued and you can perform these workouts effectively every single day, I wouldn't say it's too much. If you're like, for example, if you're not insanely sore going into these workouts, that's preventing you from giving it your all in the next workout, you're adequately recovering, your sleep is good, you're providing your body with the nutrients that it needs to recover from these workouts, I would say it's completely fine. Just depends. You need to be in tune with your body, and go from there. Antioxidant is just a buzzword. No, it has a basis, like in like basically like free radicals essentially oxidize and can result in things like cell growth, which sometimes can be what's the opposite of benign? I forget the word, but um, yeah, the antioxidants. Vitamin C is an antioxidant, so a lot of these antioxidants are just like vitamins, just another word for things like micronutrients that are beneficial. At the end of the day, they're basically like cancer fighting. Obviously, if you get all your nutrients in, you're going to be thriving. Is there a chance that you can still get sick? Absolutely. It's just the nature of things. There's so many carcinogens in the air and the clothes and everything, so you can't avoid anything. But the best, literally the best chance that you can give your body to thrive is just trying to prioritize those whole foods and those micronutrients, antioxidants, whatever you want to call them, vitamins and minerals. And yeah, that'll be giving yourself the best chance to, live a malignant. There it is. Thank you. It's a term for certain micronutrients. Yeah, essentially. It just to simplify it, essentially, yes. Okay, I'm gonna answer one more question here. I am a skinny girl and I want muscles. Okay, so for everyone, this is the last question I will answer. For everyone that wants to gain muscle, there's something, and you're gonna want to take notes on this. And this is muscle building 101 simplified in a minute. Okay, in order to build muscle, you can't force feed muscle growth. It is signal dependent. I was just telling a client about this. And the signal is known as progressive overload in your workout performance. How does that manifest? How does that look? You're either doing more weight with the same reps, you're doing more reps with the same weight, you're executing, and let's just say you're at the same weight for the same reps, but you're lifting the weight faster, so your muscle has become more efficient at lifting the load. And if your form is improving, so let's just say you're doing curls with a certain set amount of weight and reps, but those last two you kind of had to like use that momentum a little bit, and you get to a point where it's very strict. That's an indicator of progressive overload as well. So those are the four main ways you can progressively overload, which will result in lean muscle mass growth. So yeah, if you didn't hear that, this will be uploaded, so you can write that down. Those are the four things you need to be looking out for in your workouts to make sure that you're gaining muscle mass. And that will be all for the live. I really appreciate all the wonderful questions. I try to go live around twice a week. I don't really have a set schedule yet, but I want to try going live in the evening to see if more people will come in, because right now can be a busy time for a lot of people. Really appreciate all of you. For all the questions, again, please put them in either the VOD when this is uploaded or my new videos, my new shorts. I will take a look and get back to you. Again, love all of you, and I'll see you all in the next live.